Today, I don't know if you are tuning in today because you have particular problems with sleep or whether you like every subject which is available. But what I hope to talk about today is about how meditation can help with some of the sleep problems which Natalie mentioned. And part of the problem with not being able to fall asleep so easily is apparently that we are very much more in our head the whole time. So if we are able to come away from that more to the heart or to the mind, then maybe it will help us to be able to sleep more easily. And meditation, of course, is relaxing for the mind, but it's also relaxing for the body and the brain, and it helps to reduce the distracting thoughts that keep your mind buzzing like a hamster wheel instead of allowing you to go to sleep. The other thing is that meditation has been shown to improve the quality of the sleep that you do get and efficiency of sleep, especially about how long it takes you to go to sleep and how long you can stay awake during the day. A third thing is that meditation helps to lower the heart rate by igniting the parasympathetic nervous system and encourages slower breathing, thereby increasing the prospect of a quality night's sleep. And last but not least, the more you practice sleep meditation, the more likely you are to be able to build a quiet and a restful mind that allows you to sleep with ease. So this is what we've heard about meditation, and I know that there are so many apps out there these days, which I am pretty sure that most of their members are people who just want to listen to it to get to sleep more easily. So it's certainly a lot of demand out there. From our own tradition, we have something called 10 items of homework, which allows people to connect with their mindfulness and their meditation at 10 particular parts of the day. And a couple of these are to do directly with our sleeping habits. So the first piece of advice from these 10 items of homework is that before you go to sleep, then you should try to recollect all the good deeds you've done throughout the day. So it's like if you fall asleep at that time, then it's like you go out on a good note. Second item of good meditation homework that will help you to sleep is very important. Don't overlook it. Is that you should make sure that you bring your mind actually into the center as you fall asleep. According to the theory of meditation, actually this should happen anyway. You cannot get to sleep unless your mind comes to the center of your body. But if you make the effort to actually bring your mind to the center of the body intentionally, then it will mean that the mind doesn't have quite so far to go in order to allow you to drop off to sleep. So making your mind centered is particularly efficient as a way to fall asleep easily. So having filled your mind with all the good deeds you've done during the day, then bring your mind to your center. And hopefully, even when you wake up again in the morning, you won't wake up feeling like you don't know where you are or in a panic or feeling that you need more sleep afterwards. So today I'm going to lead a little bit of meditation, but the main part of the meditation, which is particularly useful for our sleeping habits, which I'll come on to in just a moment, but I'll talk about the basics first, just for the benefit of anyone who is new to meditation. The main thing to do with sleeping is the loving kindness meditation, but let me just go back and explain the basics of meditation first of all. So generally any meditation technique will be a way of bringing our awareness from back outside of ourselves to a place within our body. So our mind that is normally caught up with all the usual distractions which are competing for our attention in the outside world, we take our mind away from all of that and bring it back within the space of our body. And there are many ways to meditate, but all of them basically are a way of doing just that, which is to bring the mind back within the space of the body. It would be very simple if this was just the only thing you had to do, but generally we need to do a little bit of scene setting first of all. And the first thing we need to do is adopt a good posture for ourselves in meditation. Some of us like to sit on a chair, in which case we should sit with our back fairly straight. And our hands just with the right hand on top of the left hand, the index finger of the right hand up against the thumb of the left hand, and our hands just resting palm upwards in our lap. After that, we do what's known as a body scan, which means scanning down through our body, making sure each and every muscle is as relaxed as possible so that we can forget about our body more easily and turn our attention to the mind. Also, we need a little bit of preparation for the mind, and relaxing our mental state is usually what the next 5 minutes of the meditation will be spent doing, which means basically conjuring up a sense of goodness, of warm, fuzzy feeling inside of ourselves, rather similar to the homework I talked about just now, where you think about good things which you've done in the past to stimulate that warm, fuzzy feeling on the inside. Or you may just conjure up a positive state of mind within yourself. And after that, we do an exercise with visualization, normally of something bright inside of ourselves, or a feeling that there's something bright inside of ourselves, and we try to put aside any thoughts. Sometimes we can do this just by ignoring the thoughts, but if that's not the case, then we may need to go one step further by using the mantra Sama Arahang as a way to basically block the channel of the thoughts in the mind by putting something verbal in there of our own to stop the thoughts running riot. So the place where we try to bring the mind, if at all possible, is this point down at the level of our diaphragm, or the solar plexus as it's known, which you can see flashing there. Your one doesn't have to flash, by the way. And anywhere in that general area is fine, but the idea is that you pick a place in that general area which is comfortable for you, somewhere where you can maintain it for a long, long time. If your mind wanders away from that, then you just bring it back again. And if the inner object disappears, then you can just conjure up a new one. And today, seeing as I'm going to be talking more about the loving kindness practice, what we can do with the meditation, especially towards the end of the practice, is we can take what we've built up for ourselves at the center and we can allow it to spread outwards. So it's a little graphic to show how you can spread it outwards, firstly within the space of your body, and then later beyond your body, almost like an aura or a halo as beyond the center of the body. And this practice of spreading what we've built up for ourselves in meditation and sharing it, firstly with ourselves and then with those around us, is a very good antidote for overcoming angry thoughts in the mind. And it's also a very effective way of getting ourselves to sleep better. So if you like to bear this loving kindness meditation in mind today, and what we're going to do now is about 20 minutes or so of meditation. And as we made quite a prompt start today, we might be able to meditate for a little bit longer than usual. So if you like to make yourself comfortable for some meditation now, and I will share a meditation with you, which is entitled The Homecoming for the Mind. It has some nice auroras for you to watch instead of looking at a monk throughout your meditation. So if you'd like to start by adjusting yourself into a comfortable sitting position, whether you're sitting on a chair or on the floor, just set aside a little bit of time to make sure your body is adjusted to be as comfortable as possible. Try to keep your back fairly straight, but adjust your posture so that you're in a position by which you feel you could sit for a long, long time without needing to move around too much. So whatever posture you choose, put your right hand over your left hand, with the index finger of the right hand touching gently against the thumb of the left hand, with your hands resting palm upwards in your lap. We join our hands together in this way because if the index finger slips away from the thumb, it will give us advance warning of napping on the job. And we breathe deeply to ourselves. We allow ourselves to feel the breath softly making its way through our nostrils, through our airways, to the space within our belly. Breathing deeply to ourselves, we feel the air filling our lungs slowly, expanding our chest, leveling our shoulders. From there we exhale slowly and gently. And as we breathe out, we may feel that our entire body is becoming settled, relaxed, and content. And we might regard meditation as the opportunity for our mind to make its way back to its true home, to the place where it belongs, the source of our own inner peace. So we start by closing our eyes very gently, in the same way we'd close our eyes to go to sleep. The way we close our eyes should be in such a way that we don't close our eyes too tightly, with no pressure on our eyelids, never squeezing our eyes shut. In effect, we allow our eyelids just to droop. And this is the very first step on a journey of homecoming for the mind. From there we bring our attention back to become aware of the sensations within our body, simply by observing our sitting posture, taking a little bit of time to adjust it to perfection, just in case any part of us is feeling blocked, tense, or tight. And we continue to adjust our body until our circulation is unimpeded from top to toe. And once we find ourselves relaxed in our sitting posture, we can relax further by releasing tension in every single muscle of our body. And to this end, we scan down through our body, starting at the top of our head, as we bring our attention back to relax it there. Move our attention down to relax our forehead, down to our eyes, nose, through both of our cheeks, all the way down to our chin, feeling that the muscles of our entire face have become relaxed. We allow that tide of relaxation to move down through the back of our head, into our neck. We allow the relaxation to spread down through both shoulders, along both arms, to our hands, until we can feel any tension dissipated from our fingertips. We continue on down by turning our attention to relax our chest. We allow the stream of relaxation to move down through our abdomen, through our legs, all the way down to the tips of our toes, until we feel satisfied that our entire body feels as relaxed as it can be, with every muscle loosened up completely and feeling at ease. And we'll be able to tell when our body is truly comfortable because it will feel spacious on the inside. It will feel as if the boundaries of our body have gradually disappeared and everything seems to become alive, spacious and refreshed. And in the same way that our body needs to become relaxed for meditation, we also need to free the mind of any worries, frustration, irritation, or any of the problems that we might be keeping suppressed, by shedding them all, unburdening our mind, and letting them go. Whatever negativity may still be lurking in our mind, we let ourselves become free of it completely. Because the real origin of freedom in the mind is unburdening ourselves as far as possible of any residual negativity. It's almost like spring cleaning our mind, one step at a time. And as the negativity disappears little by little, there will increasingly be a space within the mind for peace, purity, happiness, and wisdom to arise. So for the moment, we let ourselves become as free as possible from any potential disturbance, letting it go completely. As a second step in the mind's homecoming on its journey toward inner peace. And we might conjure up in the mind a feeling that we are filling up every single cell of our body with a feeling of joy, serenity, and happiness, until that feeling seems to pervade every last cell of our body. At the same time, we empty our mind of all thoughts, engaging instead with our feelings, our sensations, and our awareness. And we gently gather together all our awareness, sensation, or consciousness in an area somewhere around the center of our abdomen. Allowing our attention to engage with that sense of comfort. And if we ever lose touch with that sense of comfort, we can gently make an adjustment at any time to return ourselves to the best state of relaxation that we can manage. Again, regarding this as the homecoming for the mind. And you might imagine that you're sitting alone high on a mountain with an uninterrupted view to the horizon. Although you're sitting alone, but you don't feel lonely. Alone but content. On top of a mountain, free from any interference, completely carefree. Perhaps with a slight breeze blowing right through your body. To the extent that your body feels light in weight, soft, almost as if it's floating weightlessly, melting away into the atmosphere around you. Until the sense of relaxation from the inside seems to be continuous with the carefree surroundings that extend away, all the way to the horizon. And you can allow yourself to be in the very middle of that space. A space in which there's no disturbance, no intrusion, just our private haven of peace, where we can be entirely ourselves. And in essence, this is a space in which we can continue to free our mind of any residual negativity, feeling that we're becoming one with nature around us. And the more we can let go, the lighter and more spacious our own mind will be. Until we can feel the center of that space within ourselves as the true home of the mind. So we bring the mind back home by gathering our attention and letting it gently rest in our center space within the body. The center space for the moment is any place inside us that feels tender and comfortable. And we can place the attention there as gently as we can. Once our mind finds its way to where it needs to be, there will be an automatic arising of joyfulness and contentment in the mind that doesn't require anything more. Our internal sensations will be ones of satisfaction and feeling replete. And all we need to do is maintain our awareness of that comfort as a sense of inner peace, which gradually emanates from within and enfolds our own mind, embraces our consciousness with a light and gentle feeling that this is where the mind truly belongs. That this is where true peace and purity can arise. And our job as a meditator is simply to maintain our mind, our awareness at this point, allowing our true nature to become full of peace and positivity. The feeling it gives us will be one of being unblemished and pristine, clarity and purity. And all we need to do is maintain our awareness within this center space for a few moments longer, letting it merge with that inner space. If you feel that you need some sort of anchor for the mind, you might like to slowly visualize some sort of bright inner image. Perhaps something as light as a bubble within yourself. A bubble that is crystal clear, floating free and weightlessly at the center of yourself. And you might imagine that a similar bubble settles at the center of your body, delicate and fragile. And all we need to do is maintain that picture of the bubble inside ourselves with the gentlest possible attention. We might imagine that the bubble remains motionless or shimmering at the center of our abdomen, soft, delicate, and gentle. We may discover that that bubble has its own illumination from the inside, or that it becomes gradually brighter, perhaps even as bright as the sun in the morning or at midday, but with a white light, a brightness that is cool and soothing, perhaps more similar to the light of the full moon at night. And it's a brightness that comes with a sense of peace and a feeling of ease, with a sense of illumination from the inside, from the center of ourselves. And all we need to do is maintain our awareness, the feeling and sensation at the center of that inner bubble, just slightly touching that feeling within the bubble with our awareness, while keeping our mind calm, still and relaxed, keeping the mind focused in stillness, softly and gently. It's not unusual for the mind to wander or get tangled up in thought. But if this should happen to you, if you start to have wandering thoughts, don't try to stop yourself from thinking. Just slowly guide your feeling or the focus of your awareness back to the bubble again. Always softly and gently, bringing the attention back to the center for however many times it takes for the mind to start to stay centered, almost by second nature. At this point in our meditation, all the thoughts and distractions will seem further away, as if in the distance. And all we have to do is simply observe the true nature of peace and tranquility, a sense of depthening of the mind, that is awareness, so still, at this point, all we need to do is observe. No matter what we may feel, see, or experience in our meditation, because each experience will lead us in the direction of that inner peace. Just observing whatever feeling or whatever visuals we may see with a still mind. We continue in this way, lightly and gently observing at the center of our body for a few more moments in silence until we come to the appropriate time. Continue to keep our mind on track at the center of the body the whole the time. Always feeling the connection with our sense of inner peace, to the point that we can start to understand what peace really is. We start to have a feeling of confidence in the capacity of human nature to put itself in touch with that inner sense of peace, in a way that we feel a sense of shared humanity with everyone else throughout the world. So we continue to check in with ourselves, continue to check in with a sense of peace and harmony and serenity within ourselves, in a way that strengthens our determination to look for that sense of common humanity in our work, in our lives, in our relationships, to bring out a sense of integrity and virtue in every place. But for now, we just keep our mind in stillness at the center of ourselves, softly, gently and continuously, keeping our mind on track, inwardly in silence, as we continue our homecoming journey for the mind towards inner peace for the last few moments of our meditation in silence.พุทธาปรปตาปาเจกานันจะยังบาลังอรหันตานันจะเตเจนะราคัมพันธามิสัพพโสสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนะสัพพธัมมานุภาเวนะสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนะสัทธาโสทิภาวันตุเต So we can come to the end of our meditation for this evening and gradually open our eyes again. If we feel at all uncomfortable, then we slowly try changing to a more comfortable position before gradually finishing our practice. So as I mentioned earlier, mostly the part of meditation that is particularly effective for working with problems that lead us to insomnia is the loving kindness part of meditation. And according to the traditional Buddhist scriptures, loving kindness has three main benefits for those who practice it. So basically taking what we've built up in our meditation and allowing it to spread first for ourselves and then wider to all the sentient beings around us in ever widening circles. So there are 11, I think, in all. So first is better, wakes feeling at ease, and has no bad dreams in between. The fourth one is that we are endearing to other human beings. So other people find it hard to be angry with us, if you happen to be one of those sorts of people. And even the non-humans are nice to us. They aren't threatening to us either. So you can go on a walk on a trail and even the snakes will be nice to you. Oh, I got 10, I'm afraid. Okay, so yes, one is watched over by celestial beings. So those of you who believe in such things, maybe the celestial beings will help to find you the parking spaces whenever you are going around the parking lot. You are safe from fire and poison and weapons and other sorts of untoward things that might happen to you. When you come to do your normal meditation, which is mostly about focusing, then if you're someone who regularly practices loving kindness meditation, then you'll find your mind is quicker to focus as well. You tend to have a more radiant complexion. This is probably part of the benefits of not being an angry person generally. And even in the last moments of your life, if you are someone who practices meditation regularly, then you will not pass away with a confused mind, which if you understand the transitions between life and death according to the Buddhist theories, then it's particularly important to have a clear mind when one is passing away, to have a good death, in other words. For those who are new to meditation, I'm not sure many of you are, but probably worth a try anyway. If you enjoyed the meditation today, and today's meditation was about a half an hour long, I would remind you and encourage you to try to meditate every day if you can. Don't just wait for a Saturday evening Zoom, but try to do meditation on your own, starting out with at least 20 minutes of meditation. And if you can manage to do that, keep it as a regular part of your daily life, then little by little, you will have the confidence and the enthusiasm to extend the length of time. But it's good to have a minimum length of time to start off with, pace yourself first, and then you can move on to slightly more ambitious lengths of time. Some people like to meditate first thing in the morning. Some people like to meditate last thing at night. Some people who have a stressful job like to meditate in their lunch break. It doesn't really matter what time of day you choose to meditate, as long as you have the energy, because we wouldn't want you falling asleep during the meditation, even though falling asleep might be the subject for tonight's talk. Some of you may be familiar with the method of meditation following the center of the body that we have practiced today. But on the MindGem app, which you can download on iOS or Android for free, there are now hundreds of audio tracks which lead meditation, and you can even set them with a timer as well to mark out the time for yourself as you are meditating. So all your favorite monks are in there, I'm sure. In our center in London, we usually have Tuesday and Thursday evening classes, which may not sound very exciting for you if you live in another country, but they are mostly broadcast as well on YouTube at the very least, and sometimes Facebook as well. However, during the month of August, we have taken a break from those classes because of the residential activities that we're running for the youngsters who are on their school vacation. And of course, we have this one, which continues every Saturday, 7 p.m. on British time and 8 p.m. on European time. Our next weekend meditation retreat coming up in London, and it probably will be in the actual temple itself, is between the 16th to 18th of September. 8 precepts starting on the Friday night, ending up on the Sunday afternoon for anyone who is interested to go a little bit deeper into their meditation practice. And as you heard earlier, we have just had our youngsters, boys this time, reporting in for their novice ordination, which will be 2 weeks long. So you see some of their activities over the next 2 weeks. And for the ladies, there will be a combined activity for probably the Thai ladies for their weekend training, 26th to 28th of August, up to the age of 75, it says there, in Thai probably. And for the youngsters who generally are less good in Thai, we will have a separate room where they have a little bit more activities suitable to their age group, and they can have the equivalent of training as the boys have done the training with ordaining as a novice without losing their hair, of course. Also in Woking, we have a almsgiving in Jubilee Square coming up on the 13th of August. For any of you who are aficionados of large almsgiving ceremonies, you know what a food bank is? Yeah, well, America has it. Britain has it. It's like a place where people who need to can go and pick up supplies when instead of suffering from poverty. And this time we are collecting food. The monks will go around with their bowls collecting the food, and then the food will be donated to the food bank. So everyone is happy by this activity. And we have an open day coming up on Sunday, the 14th of August, where people who are new to the temple in London can have a chance to see what goes on behind the scenes as well. So I finish off with a quick little story. It is a story about someone who liked to spread loving kindness. And it said that there was an old monk. In fact, it wasn't really a monk because this was like pre-Buddhist times. He was like an ascetic who lived in the forest somewhere. But he was someone who was very keen on this practice of spreading loving kindness. And I'm sure he had no problems at all having a good night's sleep. But every day he would sit and spread loving kindness. And one day he would spread loving kindness in like a beam outwards in front of him. Other days he would spread it like a beam behind him. On another day he might spread it to his left, a big beam of loving kindness going out to the left, sometimes out to the right, sometimes above, sometimes below. But one way or another, he would always spread his loving kindness. And the strange thing about his loving kindness, which was extremely powerful, was that all the animals in the forest treated him with respect and never threatened him. Not only that, as a result of the sort of vibes from his loving kindness, even animals that normally hunted each other gave up their hunting activities and became friends to one another because of the power of the loving kindness. It's also said that all the tendrils, tendrils are of the plants, where a new plant grows and as a fresh bud comes out, sometimes they're little sort of spirally shapes. The tendrils would always be in the clockwise direction, which is auspicious according to Buddhist tradition. And many years later, this hermit was called Kapila. In fact, aeons later, actually, from all the vibes of the loving kindness didn't disappear anywhere, but they actually led the place to be such an auspicious place that it was the place where a city was built much later on, many aeons later, and that was actually the place where the Buddha grew up as well. So Kapila Vastu is the place there. It's been prepared long in advance by someone spreading loving kindness in that general area to the point that it was a very auspicious place indeed. So that is a little story to finish off with for today, but I do believe we have a little bit of time left over in case Natalie would like to return to us for any questions you might have at this point.
Anyone have any question to ask Long People this evening? Hello, Terence. And welcome, Claudia from yes, from Sao Paulo. So it's quite, yes.
Yeah.
And welcome to our Susan.
Yes. Distant.
And Kristen, have any question? Hi, Kristen. Lovely. It's quite a few of us joining afterwards as well. And Gavin Matakan, he will pop to as well. So if there isn't any question, I do have a few questions to ask P. If any advice for how to get children to sleep better.
Yeah, this is probably quite a poignant question at this time. A lot of children have problems getting to sleep anyway, for various reasons, but since the pandemic has been particularly severe, and I know certainly in schools I've been in, the teachers feel there's a real need to teach meditation to children so that they do have the ability to manage their own mind and be able to take downtime for themselves and to rest and relax. So yes, if they need to sleep, I normally recommend that they meditate and spread love and kindness, of course. But the length of time that would be suitable for a child would probably be a lot shorter than for an adult. And the rule of thumb I normally use is take the age of the child and multiply that by the number of minutes. And you'll get 10 minutes for a 10-year-old child, that sort of thing. Just before they go to bed, that would normally be a good way to sort of get them to quieten down before they actually go to bed. Yes.
And another one, is it possible for us to do loving kindness at the beginning of the meditation rather than at the end? Because sometimes we do at the end of the meditation instead.
Yeah, it may sound a little bit like it doesn't make sense at all. You need to have something first before you can spread it for the benefit of others. Logically, you would put your loving kindness at the end of the meditation practice. But some people who already have a lot to spread, a lot to share with others, may find that they like to spread love and kindness right from the very beginning of the practice. And that sort of clears the ground, clears the space for the meditation, even before they start to do a practice where they're focusing. So actually, it's doesn't make a real difference. And if you might try for yourself, see if that helps you. A lot of people find that this is useful to clear the way for their meditation ahead as part of the preparation for the meditation. So although it may sound a bit strange, actually it does work quite well for some people.
So there is no fixed rule whether you could do it from the beginning or later on after?
No, there's no fixed rule. Sometimes we tend to think we need to get ourselves right first before we help others. And this is mostly the Theravada or the orthodox way of Buddhists looking at the world, where you have to sort yourself out first before you can sort out other people. But there is also the Mahayana way of Buddhism, which says that only by serving others do you discover yourself. So it's like by sharing more, you discover who you really are. So in a way, it's not a contradiction. No.
Last but not least, so what if your problem is not falling asleep, or sleeping is cannot fall asleep, but you're sleeping too much even though while you're meditating? What should we do with that?
Yes, this probably would be the subject of a different talk. Probably one on overcoming the hindrance of sleepiness. So if your problem is that you fall asleep, then you need to adjust the way you place your mind in your meditation in order to make sure you are a little bit less lethargic in the way you approach your meditation. And there are different ways of doing this, but an example of a few ways to overcome that sleepiness might be, let's say, to use your mantra to wake yourself up, or to think of more brightness, or to sit in a bright place to meditate, or to get enough sleep before you meditate, or maybe to pull your ears to wake yourself up, or pinch yourself, or perhaps to do walking meditation in between sessions of sitting meditation. All of these are suggestions which are used, again, traditionally to overcome sleepiness, where sleepiness is not what you're looking for, but what you are trying to avoid.
I've seen Ashley said something. So yeah, Ashley said I do this and it softened my mind, and I'm able to go to my center very quickly. So I'm not wrong. Thank you. I was wondering that if that wrong. No, you're absolutely fine, Ashley. Is anyone would like to add any more question at all? It's been such a great honor to have Lumpy this evening, and so hope to see everyone next week on the next Saturday, same time, with Lumpy Sander, I believe, the next week. I always get it wrong with the timetables. Yeah, I believe this next week is Lumpy Sander. And before we go, shall we pay respect to our teaching monk by bowing 3 times? Bow, bow, bow.
So may you all be